Go ahead, Sugar Pie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Compromise. I don't like
Yellow.
this one.
It's yellow. It's low. Here you go. Do it again. All right, here we go. So yes, as you can see, we have one of our dear friends here. We're gonna let him introduce himself. He's a little nervous here. This is his first time doing a movie. No, just kidding.
A podcast.
A podcast. No. So
Hello.
this is one of my best friends right here, and his name, or he goes by.
You can let me introduce myself. Okay.
Pretty close.
My name is Warren. What else am I supposed to say about myself?
Your age, your profession, no, you know how to do
And
all
your
that.
zodiac sign.
Um, yeah, I'm a Gemini, 28. I'll be 29 in June. Yeah.
I mean, India's supposed to play it for you. But no, yeah, thank you for that quick introduction. As everybody see, we're a little tight on set here. This is we always shoot from our living room, but today we wanted to talk about me and my friend. We've been talking all day about it, so we wanted to just do something quick. And I was like, dang, before you leave, before you go back, because this man lives in Louisiana, so it's very hard for us to be able to get together. So I wanted to discuss something that is dear to me. I feel like it's one of my heavy traits, which is overthinking. Overthinking.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we just can start off with India. Just describe the definition of overthinking to you. Give your definition, not the Google, not Merriam. What is it, Webster?
Webster?
Yeah, and not Urban Dictionary as well, and not
Well,
Grandma.
overthinking to me is basically it's explained in the title of it. Thinking so much to where it puts you in a position of sometimes stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see, is it a positive thing about overthinking? But
Ooh.
I can't really think of one off of my definition. I can
Go
only
ahead.
think of the anxiety and stress that sometimes it can give. But I'm sure it might be some positives out of it.
Yeah, I
It
would
is?
say overthinkers tend to be prepared for like situations because they've already thought about it. They've already thought about all the like worst possible outcomes that
Worst
could
case
happen,
scenarios.
and so they can like they're really good. I feel like in survival mode, or when you need to, you got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
They're easily able to like calm the storm because they're like, oh, if this happens, we can do this, and if this happens, we can do this.
That's a good perspective.
I like that. I love that perspective actually. Yeah, and I was just gonna let my friend know too. I was like, hey, if you gotta say something, go ahead, throw it out there, because he was like waiting to jump in when India.
I was gonna let India finish.
No, you're fine.
But hey, here at the podcast, that's why I was like, if you have a rolling idea and someone's like stumbling over their idea, hey, we just freeform it. We kind of do like that. If it's on your mind, I would hate for it to like you lose that thought.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, for my definition, overthinking. It may sound sporadic or all over the place, but I just feel like how Warren did describe it. He actually gave me that perspective because I was the overthinking person. I was the person that was always overthinking something. I was always like over analyzing or over making. I would feel like someone that has like, to me, how I would describe myself being an overthinker. I call myself a extreme anxiety. I have like anxiety over things that have not happened yet. So I would say that sometimes I put myself in that position of having that anxiety, thinking about the future too much and not living in the now. So that's the way I would describe it, of just saying like, dang, like right now, what is today? Instead of tomorrow, I'm thinking about something.
It's
But
very hard for people to be in the moment, especially with the culture that we have. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are overthinkers, and like you said, don't know how to be in the moment. They're thinking about the future, which is good in a sense. Like the interviews say, "Oh, where do you see yourself in 5 years?"
yeah,
But then it's almost like forces people to like overthink of what their future is going to be. Just to add on to
you said interview, like in that interview processing. So to make this like an interview conversation, what are some points that you have overthought, or what have been some situations where you know clearly you have had an overthinking situation? You're overthinking it.
Warren.
What I should eat for dinner.
I feel like half the ladies that may be looking at the podcast, no, let me not do that as a woman trait, but
No, but I mean, it was simple, but I mean that happens too, right? Like,
yeah,
you're like, or maybe even like, you're trying to figure out you're gonna cook for somebody else, and you're like overthinking what you should do there, but
yeah,
or where we're gonna go eat, and you're trying to figure out, like I don't want to go there and be disappointed by this, and maybe if I go there, this may happen. Like sometimes people overthink that too.
I'll say my overthinking comes
Yeah.
a lot in terms of when I'm, because I kind of have social anxiety. So
Yeah.
after being around new people, sometimes around my friends, not too much because I feel like they know me. But
Yeah.
around new people, that first impression, I sometimes overthink like, ooh, did I say too much or did I not say enough? Did I come off standoffish? Was I too nice? Like,
Yeah.
I overthink my interaction with sometimes with meeting new people.
I like
That's
that.
where overthinking comes from.
This podcast.
That's why I was waiting to go too, because I was like, let's break the ice. Let's just get in there and let's just talk and be raw with it. So mine is definitely he knows. This is one of my closest friends, best friend. I call him my best friend. So I had a situation. India's here, he's here. So my overthinking situation involves India, and I was conversing with him. So she's laughing. Now I'm getting nervous. I'm like, uh-oh, is she gonna hate me after this? But I had a conversation with my friend, just to be transparent with everybody. I was going in. Like, he didn't have a second to talk. Like, what he's doing right now was what he was doing on the phone. Like, he was just sitting there like, what I gotta say? So I was going through it so hard mentally because I was thinking about the future with me in India. I was thinking about, like, she's not doing this right now, not doing that. In previous podcasts, as we described, the control aspect. I wanted to control everything about our marriage and where we were going, the direction we were heading. And I used that famous word that a lot of people should not use in marriage, but I'm gonna just say it. I used divorce. I used it on the phone with him, and I was like, Morn, I just think I need to get a divorce. I just think I think this it. I think I don't need to do this, and I really had caught myself. Like, well, I didn't say I'm gonna catch myself. I didn't catch myself because he helps me think in situations to where I haven't, I guess ventured into yet, if that makes sense. Like, I haven't got into that realm of thinking because I'm overthinking so much that I can't see different possibilities. I can't see different answers that are maybe in front of my face. But he breaks things down to me to where I'm like, dang, that was simple, but like, why can't I think that way right now? And he was just like, something simple what Warren told me at that time when I was venting to him, because I was like, I just wanted to, I want this, I want that. And he was like, hey man, I feel like you're jumping the gun, but he was just like, I don't want you to, feel like you can't decompress to me, you can't vent to me and stuff like that. But I want you to have somebody married so that you can be able to talk to them about this, because they showed me that sometimes our friends, me and him was talking about enabling people. Sometimes my friends enable me to overthink more because some of them aren't married, but they're going to speak on marriage. Some of them aren't, going through this certain situation. Some of them haven't lost a loved one, but they're going to speak on it. They're entitled. Everyone is entitled to an opinion, but to a person that's an overthinker, that can make me overthink crazy. I'm over here like, you like, for real? You've been with somebody that's lazy, incompetent, and this, and she stressed you out too. Like, so how did you solve it? Broke up. Oh, that's my answer. I think I need to. And then now I'm over here thinking like, dang, should I break up? Should I not break up? Should I do this? Should I do not do that? But I definitely want to break the ice there. I don't know if he remembered. I don't know if you remember the conversation I was like, Warren, I think this is it. I think I don't want to do this no more. And I was like,
You was cutting up. Yeah, so like in that moment, when you're venting, like that's exactly what it is, right? It's just you just speaking out the things that are like bothering you, right? Your brain overthinking, like that's what venting helps do, right?
yeah,
But I think sometimes you have to be careful with your friends and how you're venting to them, and then like feeding into that, right? Because sometimes it's not even really how you feel, or
Or true.
true, yeah. And so it's just like the perspective at the time. Like it may be your truth at the time. And so, I don't know. I try to do that with my friends. Like if I'm listening to what you got going on, I let you vent. and then I may ask questions. But in this particular case, like, I mean, you guys are married. I'm not. So like my perspective on commitment is different. And I can theorize about it, right? I can say what I think, and I have an opinion about it, right? But my opinion isn't necessarily going to be the strongest here because I'm not in a committed relationship like that. And so, it's easier to have a conversation with somebody who's also made that same level of commitment, and you'll have more in common and be able to have like a stronger, more effective conversation about it. All I can do is like help guide you to what you were thinking previously.
The best you that you could be.
Yeah.
I like that. Do you?
That's good.
Do you, because you said venting, and I really like that because I know, well, I don't call mine venting, I call mine rambling because he know that I don't let him talk. I'm on the phone with him just like, blah, 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 blah,
All
blah.
right, get something.
He'd be ready. He'd be like, playing like, what's the little thing called? The jump rope thing? I don't, double dutching. That's what it's called. See, overthought that. Do you feel like venting is like helpful for those who are, like, does venting help you? Like that's a good question. Does it help you as a person?
Yeah, I think it does. But it can be. I mean, venting can be dangerous. Like depending on who you're venting to, how you're venting, and even to yourself, right? Because like you're speaking like the negative like talk, like you're saying it over and over again, like you're living in it, and so unless you're like truly trying to find a solution, like you should limit that one time. Like I'm gonna vent about it, and boom, done. But the more you continue to vent about it, right, the more it like really becomes your reality, and you're not really thinking about how to get out of that situation.
I'll frustrate you more.
Yeah. What about India? India, do you feel like venting is something that's? Do you describe yourself as an overthinker?
Yeah, in some areas. Some areas I'm like, oh, I'm not worried about that. I ain't thought twice about it. And then there's some things where I share where mine comes from the most. I feel like it's just interacting with new people is where I feel like I overthink the most.
Okay.
But what was the question?
Do you feel like venting can help you, or what?
Oh,
What
yeah,
actually,
I
instead of just talking
like
about venting, what does help you? You know, if you feel like you in that interaction with people, or is it something that you do like mentally that helps you? Like if you're finna meet like a crowd of people, like I know butterflies happen for you probably in that moment because I have butterflies when I'm about to make a speech in front of people. Like Warren probably has his butterflies right now. You know, he's like, dang, like it's 1 million people watching. I'm like, Warren, it's 1,000,003 people watching. I got you there. I stumbled you.
Dang, I kind of forgot again.
My bad. I talk too much.
All that overthinking.
Yeah. See.
But what was the question though?
What? You know, I had first had a question about venting. Does venting help? But then I also was like, let me change that to, what does help you in those moments of when
helps
you,
me. Okay,
yeah,
yes,
when
yes.
you said your
So-
overthinking process is when you're meeting people.
Well, I can't really say what helps me in the moment
Okay.
because I feel like in the moment, whatever happens. That's just how I feel. I don't try to overthink in the moment when I'm meeting the person, but most of the overthinking happens afterwards when I'm home. So that's where I have to be like, so I have to tell myself stop, literally in my head, stop, and then I'll be like, Lord, remove the negative thoughts that are coming in my head right now.
If you wouldn't mind sharing, what are those negative thoughts? What
Oh, Lord.
when you get home? What? No, because I mean, if you don't feel comfortable sharing, I would say the weirdest thing about myself is after every conversation. I've told you this before. You know, I've said this and confided in you, India, and because I told you all about venting with Warren, but I do vent to India as well. And I said that I have this strange thing about me is that I overanalyze every conversation I have with people. Sometimes I get home and I'm like, did I say something right? Did I say, how did they take it? How did they take it? How did they take it? You know, like, don't take it bad. Don't take that bad. And then, like, now, because you remember I was over here talking to one of my friends. He wanted to book us. And I'm like, my price is this. And he was like, nope, I ain't paying that. I was like, but my price is this. You know, and I'm like, I'm overthinking it. Are you going to stay with my friend? because then he didn't text back for a long time. I have friends that don't text back after I tell them a price or something. So I'm like, I always have that. What helps me, I don't know if I can say something that helps me or in that situation, but I guess to the same thing that I just asked you, when I get home, I'm thinking about everything I said. I'm thinking about, instead of going to, like you said, Lord, I just be honest sometimes. I don't be going to God and be like, God, help me figure this stuff out. Because I feel like that's me. I feel like that's a part of who I am. I'm going to continuously do certain things or continuously overthink. But I feel like in those moments, that's what I'm thinking about. Like, how did that person feel? How did that person feel? I have to relinquish, like, I can't control, like, how that person feels. I can't control how, that's what I'm trying to relinquish. Like I told you, every time this podcast come on, I'll be like, I'm still trying. I'm still trying. But I don't know if Warren has something to say in that quick excerpt.
No, I mean, I was going to, say that it seems like, overthinking or analyzing those situations after they've happened and everything like that, it's like I don't know, it feels like a practice in control. Like I wish I had more control of that situation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like, what you just said is like, you can't have control. So you have to remind yourself that like, when that situation already happened. And I know that like, this is easier said than done, but that's what I try to do with myself. Like I can't change that interaction. Right. Yeah. And so if I really feel like bad about it, or I don't feel like it went well, like I can do a few things. I can go talk to the person. If it's really bothering me, like if I really value that interaction or that person in that relationship, I can go have that conversation and be like, hey, how did that go? And get their perspective about it, to try to like, at that point now I have the actual data. I'm not like in my head, hypothesizing. Is that a word? Yeah. Making a bunch of assumptions about what could have happened or, I just have exactly what they were thinking. Right. And then I can move on. And you can do that with or I at least try to do that with other things too.
Yeah. No, those are good points. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure.
What about you?
Sorry.
He's just gonna throw his microphone.
I said mine first. What I do to cope, I tell myself to stop, and then pray on it, like remove these negative thoughts, and it helps for a while. And then obviously I'm human, so if it comes again, I tell myself, "Oops, stop." But that's the only method I have right now. Is like, stop. Don't worry about it. Like these people may not even feel what you're thinking. So I'm like, why am I assuming the worst where nothing really even happened? So that's my only help right now that I have.
Do both of y'all ever catch yourself overthinking? Do you ever catch yourself in that moment? And what do you do when you caught yourself?
Yeah, I mean, that's what she was just saying too. But I mean, what you just said, like about like when you think about the worst thing that could actually happen, like if you really think about the worst thing that could actually happen, like
it don't be happening.
It's not that bad.
Or it's not that bad.
It's either like not that bad, or it's like, well, if that does happen, like I can't do nothing about that.
Yeah.
And that helps too. It's like, it's
can't control it.
It's not as big of a deal as I thought it was.
Yeah.
I like that.
Overthinking, it's like kind of like a little bit of a control thing too. Like, you kind of want to control how someone viewed you or experienced you and your interaction. Yeah.
Can I embarrass y'all for a moment? I know I said some big. I said some big moments where I had conversations with Warren. I had conversations with India, a beautiful wife over there. And what about conversations from y'all? What do y'all recall anything that y'all were just like overthinking and y'all may have talked to me about or tried to confide in me? Like what was your biggest overthinking moment you think that you had? And at the end of the day, it was just like y'all just explained, it wasn't nothing that was that big. It was just like, dang, because I mean, to give my answer real quick, that overthinking thing I said to Warren about the whole D word, in marriage, you're like, oh, I don't want to break up a marriage. And a lot of people don't want to do that. I overthought that whole process. And I guess the end of the day, like I said, the result of it was that now looking at me in India now, I see how much I was trying to control. I see how much I was trying to do this and do that and make everything perfect. I was trying to make everything perfect in a marriage. And I had this ideal. I think me and Warren talked about this masculine or this man figure idea of who a man's supposed to be, what a man's supposed to say, how a man's supposed to move, how a man's supposed to, and a lot of us don't have a definition of what a man is. Like what is a man? And then even India said for women, some women don't have the definition of what a woman is. What a woman should be in certain situations. And then it may just be yourself. Instead of just saying like I gotta fit this definition. So I think that's what helped me at the end of the day talking to Warren about that. Hey, I'm going to break up and do this. And looking back at that, I was like, dang, y'all can laugh at that. I wanted to just share that for some people that may be feeling those moments or feeling that time. Because, your overthinking is something that you think about. You can't tell people stop thinking about it. Like India says, stop. I can't tell her to stop, stop, drop and roll with your overthinking. Stop it. Don't do that right now. But babe, I'm really, I can't tell her to stop. I can't control how she's thinking. Even if I tell her to stop, we try to pray on it. We try to do all this. She still may think about it tomorrow. But then
that helps me actually think of the one.
Okay.
Your question, to answer your question.
Because I know Warren ain't ready. So, nah.
The overthinking. The biggest overthinking that I had to come to you about was the surgery.
Okay. Looking back at it now.
Looking back at it now, it's just like, and it's an exciting and joyful feeling. Like,
yeah.
I was like, I want God to be like, I told you so. I told you everything be fine. But yeah, like doctor was like, you're gonna be fine, and to actually be fine, it's a good feeling to know like, okay, I was doing all that overthinking for nothing.
Yeah.
But that's something that I overthought a lot over the 2 weeks where I was like, Darcy,
yeah,
I'm kind of scared, a little nervous.
Yeah. I mean, I think overthinking
falls
in your emotions.
Like overthinking to the point where I have an anxiety or having a hard time sleeping. Because I'm like, what if I die on the table? Or what if she has to take everything out and I can't have kids? And, just start thinking of literally all the different possibilities that she shared. And shoot, even with my name, because I got married, but I didn't change my name.
Oh, okay.
Right away. So it's my, what's it called? Maiden name?
Maiden name, yeah.
It was on the insurance. And,
yeah.
But I was checking in because my name's legally changed to Anderson. I was like, but the insurance says Mitchell. What if they get me mixed up with somebody else? Like,
yeah,
I'm just overthinking all types of stuff. But yeah.
What about you, Mr. W.D. Clardy?
Wow. You put my whole initials out there. I've been to you a lot, honestly. I don't know that there's like one thing that sticks out to me as like the biggest thing, but I know like if I come into you and about something that I was overthinking, you typically are just like, you ask me some questions and I'm like, dang, okay, that really wasn't that bad. That really wasn't that bad. And I just move on from there. I don't have anything heartfelt to share.
This one moment where you touched my heart,
What about for me then? Oh, go ahead, man.
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't think. I know we were talking about how like overthinking can lead to like analysis paralysis sometimes, or like just bringing a lot of like stress and anxiety. But it can be quite useful too. I think.
Yeah.
Like to overthink, and I just think it's figuring out how to balance it out. And because like when someone like plans something, like you kind of need to overthink sometimes.
Yeah.
You need to think about like what are the things that could happen and how can we be prepared. And then sometimes you don't need to plan it; just go do it.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that you do need to be prepared for. So overthinking it is probably in your best interest to do.
I like that. I actually love it because it gives you I think some people identify as overthinkers, just like myself. I'm like, I'm an overthinker. I know I'm an overthinker. I know that's who I am. But then sometimes you want to know, are you beneficial to other people? Sometimes am I like helping somebody else just because I thought about something that most people would be like, why are you thinking about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, have I ever helped you in a moment like that? Like I've overthought something or India asked me a question earlier. Let me actually. Okay, my bad. I'll be asking the same question twice. Yes. Sorry to the compromise. They'd be like, "Wait a minute, Darcy, you be the worst interviewer ever." That's what I was going to answer. What I've come to. I mean, it's going to be the same thing that you said. You just said the surgery, and that was my biggest overthinking moment because I actually, all the fellas out there, my truth is that when I came to her, she laughed at me. No, I'm just kidding. She kind of did laugh at me a little bit. I came to her. I had a very stressful moment where she had to she has these little. I wish I can go back in the room real quick and get these. She has these little facial massages things and stuff like that. And she has like this little facial roller and stuff like that. I had told her on the couch, I was like, India, my brain is swelling. She was like, no, baby, your brain is not. I said, my brain is swelling. It is getting large. Like I have I felt like I had more hair than Warren. At that moment, I really was stressed out. I was like, I didn't know. I think sometimes you may be stressing, you may be overthinking something, and you internalizing it. So at that moment, I was internalizing her whole surgery, and I didn't even realize it. So to answer India's question, my moment was,
I gave him a whole facial.
Yeah, she had to give me a whole facial. She was just like, "You're not stressing out. You're not doing bad," and that's kind of because that was like one of.
You are stressing out, but your brain is not swelling.
My brain not swelling. See, that was me overthinking the stress and trying to make it fit somewhere. I was like, the stress somewhere. I just don't know where it's at. I was like, my brain is swelling. I was like, babe, my brain. And I even called my grandma. I was like, grandma, my brain's swelling.
If your brain is swelling, you need
Yeah.
to take you to the hospital.
No, my grandma really was like, why she ain't take you to the hospital yet then? What's wrong, Ken? What is wrong with your brain? I was like, my brain is swelling, grandma. I know it is. You just stressing. I was stressed. I overthought that whole day, though. Like, India knows that I had to talk to her throughout the whole day. I talked to him that day of the surgery because I'm glad he's here, because we wrapping up the podcast. We have a few minutes left. The moment of her surgery, I had my phone. I left it at the house. So phone was left at the house. She went through her whole surgery. It took about like 4 or 5 hours. The whole time sitting in the hospital. I didn't have no friends text me when I went back to the house to get my phone. And I was stressed out. I was just like, and then one of my friends said something so like he said, I don't have a heartfelt moment, but Warren doesn't understand some of the times that when he just says something simple or simplistic, that's the heartfelt moment to me because I learned something. It was like, I didn't know the time of her surgery. So I was kind of, gauging it. I was like, dang, I didn't tell you the time. I'm thinking you're supposed to text me right at 8:00 on the dot. Hey man, I've been praying for India. I hope she's okay. God is going to bring her to joy and bliss.
And I was like, babe, it's a random Tuesday. People
at
have
work
their normal workday life. We are just the ones that have a different end schedule. Like we're the one at the hospital on a Tuesday, 8:00 in the morning.
And
everybody else.
And this guy just told me today that he was just like, yeah, I've been working from like this time to this time, and I was like, golly, like. But you don't know. You sometimes overthinking is something that you don't know, but you want to know an answer to something too. Kind of to give a conclusion answer to the question I asked earlier. But as we wrapping up, that was loud. As we wrapping up, because my friend has to go here. He has to go back to Louisiana, guys. Throw up the L's. Throw up your L's. Yeah, there you go. Look at it. Yeah, shout out Louisiana. What tips or words of encouragement, advice, anything you want to throw out, just for the last, this is your time to be the dark chief and just, kind of just ramble for a little bit. For those who may be overthinkers out there, for those, some of the things, the strategies that help you, it may not help them, but, just they may be able to listen and be like, oh, that's something I haven't thought of before. Yeah, do every last single thing and don't overthink it that I just said.
Right now. I don't know. I think it's not as simple because I'm sorry. Let me get closer to the mic.
You sound like radio voice now.
The Sweat Hotel. I think it's accepting what you can't control. Like if I have a really bad conversation with somebody, I can't control how they feel about it, right? And so me being stressed about how they feel about it, or me, thinking through all the things for how they feel about it, then that doesn't help anything.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. And so what I can do is just say like, all right, cool. The conversation happened. I can either go address it, or or I can, move on with my day knowing that I had a bad conversation. I can't control how they feel about it.
Let go and let God.
Let go and let God.
Truly.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's good.
But it's hard. I mean, it's I think it's a lot harder. Like we're sitting here talking about it, but like it's difficult to
It is.
to process all of that in that moment too.
Are you right?
But
India?
It's manageable. It's manageable. It's attainable. But it is difficult. But yes, I just encourage people to balance, like you said.
That's a good idea to say
Balance. Your mind is going to do what it does, but try to give yourself grace. But like you said, overthinking can be good. Sometimes it could be bad. So don't let it be so much stress and anxiety where it's affecting your body, your mental health. So I would say just be aware of it so you can balance it.
I love it. My last thing, and then I would just say everything is not negative. I wouldn't take everything as something or receive it as negativity. Some things are something for you to learn from. So even if you're probably overthinking something that you probably said or you probably did say the wrong thing. A lot of us, we don't want to do the wrong things, don't want to say the wrong things, don't want to be in a bad position or whatever. But like Warren said, we can't control everything, so don't receive it as negativity. Some things are positive. Some things you can create a positive channel for you. But hey, thank y'all for listening. Thank you, Warren, Clardy.
I'm turning like I have a crick in my neck. I'm trying to keep these headphones on my ear.
Thank you
for stepping out of your comfort zone. And hey, this is your first podcast that you've been on? I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I was at the first one.
At our very first podcast.
He was at our first one.
Oh, man.
Behind the scenes. He was the cameraman.
That is crazy. And look where we are now.
Now we've talked him into being on the screen.
All out here in the streets.
No, sweating, overthinking.
It's because these lights are bright.
He didn't know we actually had a studio and stuff. But yeah, man, we thank you. So I just wanted to let you know, thank you. Thank you for staying a little later too, and just enjoying your time. And
thank you for having me on Compromise, aka Meet Me Halfway.
Yeah.
He shouted us out. He said, I love it. Hey, next time we're going to be able to get him where he got a little bit more time and he got a little less sweat on his face because he did say keep sweat earlier. But just kidding. But no, here you go. India, we're going to get the close out here.
Which one is it?
Okay, whichever. But you're going to push it.
Press it.
Okay, press one. Yeah, you got to turn up the volume right there. There you go.
Oh, not the crickets.
Yeah, that's crickets.
Yeah. We don't want people to listen to our podcast like that. Y'all trying to do the music?
No, that's not it either.
It's a red color if it's.
Oh, red.
If it's you want to do the music?
Cricket.
Okay. This is the Compromise, aka. And we're signing out. Thank y'all so much for listening and being a part of this and watching our camera die. Thank y'all so much. We love you all.